You know, originally I thought this was just some BS that Rap House TV was making, and then I found out on New York Post that this is actually real. This is an actual study that shows this. And after seeing this shit, we need two things: a recount, and we need the motherfucker who studied this to be thrown in the same streets he was praising. Like, just throw him face deep in a pile of trash. Now look, I live in North Jersey, and I can tell you right now, the amount of bullshit that happens with our next door neighbors is absolutely baffling. In New York, you will wake up, get ready for work, and when you leave, you'll pass by at least 7 crackheads and 5 homeless people. Not to mention the smell of at least 17,000 pounds of pollution. And guess what, nigga? You're not even at work yet. Now you gotta take your inflamed ass nostrils down to the subway station and hope nobody's getting caught by the cops jumping over the fucking turnstiles again. Now, once you get your seat in this big stank ass subway, you will most likely be greeted by one of several circus acts or a whole fight. You also gotta hope and pray that some dumbass isn't on the tracks right now trying to play Subway Surfer. And before you go asking, why can't you just go by car? Have you seen how congested New York traffic is? The only time you should ever be in a car in New York is when you're going out of state. And even if the traffic in New York wasn't that bad, you know you'd have to pass by at least like 17 different Martin Luther King boulevards. And not to mention, the one I just posted has a Malcolm X boulevard intersecting in that. Do you know how evil that street has to be? That shit sounds like the equivalent of a Fortnite 50v50 lobby. I am not stopping here so that way my car can be turned into a piece of Swiss cheese later. I am reprogramming my GPS as we speak to actively avoid this place. Speaking of crimes, New York's crime and police brutality rates are fucking abysmal. So you're either worrying about the boys in blue, who by the way have the world's largest police department, or you're worrying about people who have the most tacky and yet somehow most menacing piece of clothing ever, the shiesty. And I'm recording this in the summer. You have zero reason to get mad at me. So if you see a motherfucker wearing this, just stay like 12 feet away from that nigga. Establishments just need to start having a shiesties equals no service policy. Now, I know I talk about this a lot, but I gotta bring up drill rap next. Now, NYC drill by itself is actually kind of repetitive to me, so it's never been my cup of tea, but it's also just fucking evil. Like, this shit enforces every stereotype that parents who hate rap talk about. And if they're not making bars dissing niggas within a 50-mile radius, they're hunting down niggas within a 100-mile radius. Now, besides the full-scale gang war that's disguised as a rap subgenre, we gotta talk about one more thing: rats. The war on rats in New York is even worse than the emu war in Australia. These rats are growing, nah fuck that, evolving at such an alarming rate that you will get paid more than handsomely just to exterminate them. So yeah, I think I've made my point. Not only is New York not one of America's best cities, but it's also one of its worst, and the person who conducted that study needs to give us a YouTube apology video with extra tears. Like, Jesus Christ, you're not even just wrong at this point, you're dumb as shit.
And you're ugly, just like your mum.